أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Surah 83, Al-Mutaffin, the Stinters, Meccan period. Title: The word Al-Mutaffin occurring in the opening verse constitutes the surah's title. Period of revelation. Both its style and content suggest that this surah must have been revealed in the early days of the Meccan period. At that point in time, a series of surahs had been sent down in quick succession in order to persuade the Meccans of the doctrine of the hereafter. Internal evidence indicates that this surah was revealed when the Meccans had started persecuting the Muslims in the form of mockery and humiliation. At this juncture, they had not as yet taken to physical torture. Some Quranic scholars, however, regard it as a Medinan surah. What accounts for this misperception is the following report by Ibn Abbas. He stated, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, arrived in Medina, he noted that the people there were stinters in that when they took from others by measure, they took their full share. But when they themselves measured or weighed for others, they gave less than what was due to them. Then Allah sent down Surah Al-Mutaffin and the locals gave up stinting. Nasai, Ibn Majah, Ibn Murdawayh, Ibn Jarir and Bayhaqi. However, as pointed out by us in the introduction to Surah Al-Dahr, it was customary among companions and successors to relate thus a particular verse or surah to its circumstantial setting. So doing, they did not have in mind its chronology or date of revelation. What emerges at most from Ibn Abbas's above report is that on observing the malpractice of stinting among the Medinans, the Prophet, peace be upon him, by Allah's leave, recited this particular surah to them, which set matters right. Subject matter and themes. The hereafter is the surah's main concern. Verses 1 to 6 censure, in particular, traders for stinting. Of the numerous social ills of the day, this is singled out as an illustration of the evil which overtakes a society that does not believe in life after death. Unless man is fully convinced about his accountability on the day of judgment, when he will have to render his account for every penny, he cannot be absolutely honest in his dealings. Some may practice honesty as a good policy only on a limited scale, yet they do not follow it, if it does not prove beneficial for them. Only God consciousness and a firm belief in the hereafter can infuse true and abiding honesty and fairness in man. For then he takes honesty as part of his religious duty, not some policy that may be followed only as long as it is rewarding for him. The surah's opening part thus effectively presses home the nexus between excellent morals and the doctrine of the hereafter. Verses 7 to 17 declare that the misdeeds of evildoers are being recorded, and they are destined for their devastating loss on the day of judgment. Verses 18 to 28 describe the happy end of the pious. Their good deeds are also being entered into the exalted record maintained by angels. At the end, the believers are comforted, whereas the unbelievers are warned of the dire consequences for their maltreatment of those who profess and practice faith. On the day of reckoning, these culprits will undergo terrible punishment, which will gratify the pious.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate.
Waylun lil mutaffifin.
Woe to the stinters.
الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون.
Those who, when they take from others by measure, take their full share.
وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون.
But who, when they measure or weigh for others, give less than their due.
ألا يظن أولئك أنهم مبعوثون.
Do they not realize that they will be raised to life?
ليوم عظيم.
On a great day, on a great day. The day of resurrection has been called a great day Because on that day all humans and jinn will be called to account, and God himself will judge them all. Furthermore, on that day, hugely important decisions will be made about whom to reward and whom to punish.
يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين.
A day when mankind will stand before the Lord of the universe.
كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين.
No, indeed. Verily, the deeds of the wicked are in the record, locked up in the prison house. No, indeed. Those who believe that they will not be held to account after they engaged in evil during their worldly life are certainly mistaken.
وما أدراك ما سجين.
And how would you know what the record of the prison house is?
كتاب مرقوم.
It is a book inscribed.
ويل يومئذ للمكذبين.
Woe then to those that give the lie.
الذين يكذبون بيوم الدين.
Those that give the lie to the day of recompense.
وما يكذب به إلا كل معتد أثيم.
Yet none gives the lie to it except the transgressor immersed in sin.
إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين.
Who, when our verses are recited to him, says, mere tales of olden times. Who, when our verses are recited to him, says, our verses here refers to the verses that contain information about the day of recompense.
كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون.
No, indeed. The truth is that their hearts have become rusted on account of their evil deeds. No, indeed. The truth is that their hearts have become rusted on account of their evil deeds. There was no good reason for anyone to say that the notions regarding reward and punishment in the next life were simply tales of olden times. What makes people say so, however, is that their hearts have become rusted on account of the sins they have committed. Hence, an idea that is wholly reasonable appears to them as merely fanciful tales of olden times.
كلا إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون.
No, indeed. On that day, they will be screened off from seeing their Lord.
ثم إنهم لصالو الجحيم.
And then they shall enter hell.
ثم يقال هذا الذي كنتم به تكذبون.
Whereafter they will be told, this is what you used to give the lie to.
كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين.
No, indeed. Verily, the deeds of the virtuous shall be in the record of the exalted ones. No, indeed. This is said to contradict those who believe that no one will be rewarded or punished in the life to come.
وما أدراك ما عليون.
And what do you know what the record of the exalted ones is?
كتاب مرقوم.
It is a book inscribed.
يشهده المقربون.
Which the angels placed near Allah to safeguard.
إن الأبرار لفي نعيم.
Verily, the virtuous shall be in bliss.
على الأرائك ينظرون.
resting on couches, looking around.
تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم
You shall see upon their faces the glow of bliss.
يسقون من رحيق مختوم
They will be served a drink of the finest sealed wine.
ختامه مسك وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون
Whose seal is musk, so let all aspirants aspire after that.
ومزاجه من تسنيم
A wine whose mixture is tasneem. A wine whose mixture is tasneem. The word tasneem contains the nuance of height. To call a spring tasneem carries the connotation of a spring that flows down from a great height.
عينا يشرب بها المقربون
A fountain at which the chosen ones shall drink.
إن الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون
Behold, the wicked were wont to laugh at the believers.
وإذا مروا بهم يتغامزون
When they passed by them, they winked.
وإذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم انقلبوا فكهين
And when they went back to their families, they went back jesting.
وإذا رأوهم قالوا إن هؤلاء لضالون
And when they saw the believers, they said, Lo, these are the erring ones.
وما أرسلوا عليهم حافظين
They said so, although they had not been appointed watchers over them.
فاليوم الذين آمنوا من الكفار يضحكون But
today, the believers are laughing at the unbelievers.
على الأرائك ينظرون
Seated upon their couches, they are looking around.
هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون
Have the unbelievers been duly rewarded for their deeds? Have the unbelievers been duly rewarded for their deeds? These words have a subtle, ironic note about them. The unbelievers looked upon their persecution of the believers as an act of virtue. In this context, it is stated that in the life to come, the believers will be enjoying the delights of paradise and will observe the woeful state of the unbelievers, wallowing in hell. This will certainly make them say to themselves, have the unbelievers been duly rewarded for their deeds?